Okay, so before we start, let's set some rules. Victoria's not allowed to mention moon dust. I think that's the first one. So what I would say to all the speakers before we introduce ourselves is we've got a lot of questions to get through, and I do want to talk to the audience as well. So let's try and be as succinct as we possibly can. And let's do just a quick intro then. So starting with you, Victoria, just want to give us your bio. What do you do, and how can you help in this panel discussion?
I've been in learning and development for my whole career, so I have grown up with growing skills and developing people, been through it, still doing it myself, and really love developing careers.
Brilliant, thank you. Holly?
Hi everyone, my name is Holly Broadhurst, so I'm the Senior Scheme Leader at JCB, so I look after apprentices and graduates across all the UK sites. Very interesting story for myself. I actually came through an apprenticeship myself, so absolutely understand from your own perspectives what you're going through at the moment.
Brilliant, thank you. Tim?
Hi all, I'm Tim Hogan. I'm a degree apprentice at Bentley Motors, and I studied here about 4 years ago at the sixth form, so it's great to be back and speaking to you.
Great, and Ali?
My name's Ali. I work at a medical engineering company. As an electromechanical engineer, I design and program medical machines. I've recently completed a level 3 apprenticeship, and I'm currently undertaking a level 6 degree apprenticeship at the University of Nottingham.
Magic, thank you. So, first question, let's kick off. It's probably a question, I think, for Victoria, Tim and Holly maybe to sort of answer. So, what role do you see apprenticeships playing in the future of manufacturing, and how can they be more effectively promoted to young people as a viable path to careers? And let's start with Tim.
I think the roles that are going to be coming up in the future, or more specifically now, are going to evolve. I can only speak on my specific experience, but in the car industry, a lot of the focus on the moment will be in electrical practices. So not just cars specifically in the making of them, but the infrastructure around there. So different types of engineering. You've got to think about what's coming in the future, and if you can sort of specialise or go in depth in any of those subjects and what you're studying, I think that'll really benefit you.
Brilliant, thank you. Holly?
It's absolutely fundamental. You know, I think a lot of people have spoken already today about whether it's the chairs you sat on, the watch around your wrist, anything has been designed, engineered and manufactured, and it absolutely needs to be the forefront of everybody's topic when it's talking about, you know, the next career move for yourself, whether it's the subjects you're picking at school. So I can only stress enough how important it actually is for everybody. To give context, you know, for JCB, we've got just under 400 apprenticeships, 400 apprentices on scheme on 42 different schemes. So that just shows the diversity within the manufacturing industry.
And for me, really, we live in a world of choice, and our choices are only getting bigger. And apprenticeships give people the choice over their career, and I think that plays a really important role. So you can exercise your curiosity and your choice and really choose where you want to apply your skills. And with regards to like engineering, we're not at the end of innovation, and we're still innovating, and we're still learning, and we're still trying to make things better in the world. And we're also re-engineering things to make them sleeker and better, and using different materials. And so without apprenticeships and the curious minds that they have, and to a lot of extents, the brilliant innocence that they have to just ask curious questions, you wouldn't have that ability to re-engineer.
What's coming through really strongly is that this is a possibility. It's a place of possibilities, isn't it? It's basically a situation where it doesn't matter what your path to get there was, you can still change things, you can make a future for yourself. So, second question, so this one's probably for you, Ellie, I think. So, what inspired you to pursue your career, and how has your apprenticeship changed you and prepared you for what's coming?
To be honest, what inspired me to pursue my career, especially with an apprenticeship, was the independence that an apprenticeship brings. Obviously, within manufacturing and engineering, you get to create brand new things. You're kind of at the forefront of technology, and you kind of get the creativity that you want as well. And it's just all of those things put together.
And how has it changed you?
I guess, to be honest, like a lot of you guys here, I was pretty immature. coming out of school, so it's given me the maturity, it's given me the flexibility of communication within my life, within many different aspects, just professionally and unprofessionally. So I guess it's just all around, it's to do with more communication as the apprenticeship has improved.
Did you ever think you'd be sitting in front of a room full of people talking about this?
To be honest, it's not the first time, but especially when all the parents looking at you, it's a lot more daunting. When it's just children, it's a lot easier. But yeah, I didn't think, you asked me this 3 years ago, I would have said no.
It's really powerful hearing all of the young people tell their stories, so thank you, Ali. The next question is probably for Tim and Holly, I guess. There are a number of elements, so you might just want to pick one or two things here. So how have AI, digitisation and climate change impacted job roles and skills as far as you can see in manufacturing, and how do you see these trends shaping the future of industry? Start with Tim.
I think, again, using my experience here, the roles, I think some people worry that some roles will become extinct, which can be true. But when it's taken away, whole new pathways are created for lots of different opportunities. So I think if you've gone into searching for apprenticeships or a job and what you specifically want isn't there, there's definitely going to be more opportunities in the future. Certainly the landscape of how cars are made is going to be completely different from now, but that can be said about sort of any manufacturing or engineering topic at the moment. So I think it's only beneficial. You just need to sort of evaluate and observe the changes that are happening in engineering.
Holly?
I think for any business, innovation is key, and we've got to lean forward into that innovation. If we take any of the key topics that people talk about around sustainability, from JCB, it's talking about hydrogen, it's talking about electrification, it's talking about software development, and it's absolutely making sure that that's a fundamental part in people's learning journeys as they come through. And I think it was Ella who said earlier, we don't even know what those skill sets are that we're going to need in the future, but it's making sure that people have got the right soft skills and the right mentality, attitude and adaptability to actually come into these roles is what is key for us to choose and what we do with that innovation.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. The next question, back to you, Ali, if I may. We talked about how you've changed. I wonder what specific skills or knowledge you think are most crucial for success in the manufacturing environment, and how has your apprenticeship helped you develop these?
I think it's quite a big myth that manufacturing is one set way, you're creating components all day, they're the same components, etc. This is not true at all. But to be within the manufacturing sector, you need to have a sense of creativity, whether that's to improve a process, whether that's to build yourself up the ladder, whether that's to, look at a component and go, what, we're making out of this material, what can we do to improve this? So I think creativity is a big one, which gets overlooked. It's not just all about the maths and all about the technical data. You've got to be able to look at something from a broader aspect, so that, not just companies here, but just as a country, so that we can compete with other countries, because that's the way that they're looking at it.
Yeah, brilliant. Great answer, thank you. So back to our sort of career experts, if I may. Start with you, Victoria, if that's okay. What are some key challenges that you believe the industry will face in, say, the next decade? And what skills will be most in demand? Tell young people in the room, tell parents, what are the skills that they're going to need over the next decade?
So when we look at traditional skill sets, I guess for us, selfishly looking at traditional ceramics skill sets, those heritage ceramic slip casting, for example, actually those are shaping the manufacturing that we're doing today in advanced ceramics, and we don't want to lose any of that. So selfishly for us in the local area, we want people who have hands-on experience with ceramics and hands-on experience practically with tools even, to be able to be hands-on and do the stuff the robots can't do as easy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Holly.
So I think for a lot of people when they're coming into this, we're talking about, again, that kind of AI technology, digitalisation and different things like that. And again, it's forever changing in the landscape that we kind of look at it. Looking at that workforce and what we need them, you know, again, it's that soft skills, but absolutely thinking about picking subjects that are not only enjoyable for yourself, because that is absolutely paramount, but also are going to be utilised in the future. So whether that's any kind of IT skills, programming, software, you know, if I take, for instance, I've got a degree in mechanical engineering, you know, what we would have taken on a recruitment exercise for mechanical engineers to where we are today for more E&C technology, software, digitalisation is completely different. And you can really see that trend. So it's about understanding the environment and the industry as it is today. And really, you know, when we're talking about work experience and going out and understanding what businesses are doing, I can't encourage you enough to go and do that.
Sounds really daunting, Tim. Is it?
I don't think so at all. I think that the perspective of it from an outside, if you don't have much of a clue what you're getting yourself into, might be quite daunting. But once you're there, it's possibly the most accommodating role you could have in an industry. You're under, I know for JCB and Bentley, you're under an early careers team, which almost take care of you and support you in all the learning that you need to do. And they make sure you're on a set path, so you're learning in traditional education, for example, in a degree environment at university, but then getting the skills that you would only acquire from having a job as well. So it's the best of both worlds, and it leaves you, when you come to that end of the apprenticeship, well above the rest who may have gone to different roles or circumstances, not apprenticeships.
Yeah. So I'll throw you a curveball then. Skills for the future. What are we going to need in the next decade then, Ali?
I think digital skills is a big one.
Yeah.
I think that, especially to do with artificial intelligence, I think the way that we design things is going to change massively. Right now, obviously, a lot of it's computer-based design, etc. I think that with certain AI models, there'll be huge, just competitiveness within the automotive industry, within the robotics industry. And I think programming is definitely a big skill that you need to acquire. And obviously, these are all very technical skills that I'm talking about, but these are all built off your very simple soft skills that you build at university, at college, at school, and then obviously your learning skills, your communication skills as well. They're all going to be vital.
And going back to Holly's point, how important is it to get work experience, to go in and get your hands dirty? You're nodding, Victoria.
We have lots of people that come into us on work experience. Some of you are actually in the room today, which has been wonderful to see. We really like people to understand what it's like in a real-life commercial working situation and to get hands-on as much as possible with work so that you can get that sense, that touch, that feel for exactly what the role is going to entail, and you feel fully informed before you then make your choice on your career.
Really good, thank you. So for all the panel, this one, how can companies in high-tech manufacturing collaborate with educational institutions, universities, colleges, schools, to ensure that students are learning the right skills for the future? What needs to change or happen there? And let's start with Holly.
So it's absolutely fundamental for me, I absolutely genuinely believe and quite passionate about this, that as a company, we've got a corporate responsibility to go out to universities, to schools, to actually talk to students and influence that curriculum to make sure that we're getting that skill set for the future. And we do a lot of work with universities, and this isn't just at a local scale, this is at a national scale. We go out and we talk to, it's quite funny, we actually, we've just rewritten the attraction and engagement strategy, and we've got a bracket of anywhere between the ages of 5 to 7. And a lot of people say, 5 to 7, why 5 to 7? Because that is absolutely the age that we need to go into schools and talk to students about STEM subjects, because that is the moment in which they are going to enjoy it or they're not. And we need to go in there and influence at that point. So going in, understanding the curriculum, how we can advise. We are the industry experts. We should be going into schools and explaining that we need these subjects. You know, whether it's hydrogen, talking about chemical engineers of the future, whether it's electrification, talking about software development. It's absolutely vital that we go and do that.
Would 5-year-old Ali have enjoyed a trip to school from JCB?
I don't know. To be really honest with you, I'd probably be running around somewhere else, avoiding everyone. But I think, yeah, it is vital, to be honest. And, you know, I don't know, even just seeing, I guess it's the way in which you communicate with different people. I'm guessing when you go to these people that are 5 and 7 and you probably show them, you know, a toy tractor and stuff like this, and you get them interested, you know, putting bits together, and just that sort of initial exposure, I guess, is quite critical, because it, you know, invariably when they're a bit older, will get them thinking a bit clearer.
I won't ask about 5-year-old Tim, but I will say, what do you think about the education links? How can we improve them? What do schools, colleges, universities need to be doing?
Yeah, I think it's just getting more companies to come in and talk to the students. A lot of the issue is people, students, parents, anybody not knowing the opportunities that these companies have. Apprenticeships, IP programs, grad programs. The apprenticeships can go from level 3 to level 6. So there's a lot of opportunity, and it's the lack of knowledge about them that really impacts it.
Thank you. Victoria?
For us, we have a motto of stay local but go far. And for us, we're finding that ceramics isn't traditionally on curriculums in schools. And independent schools have a great opportunity to put it on the curriculum. And we've worked with quite a lot of independent schools around the area, and non-independent schools too, to go in and run sessions on what advanced ceramics actually is and where the careers are in that industry here in Staffordshire. And so for us, that outreach is really important, because there are even very few universities in the world that specialize in advanced materials with a ceramics focus. They're usually metal focused.
Brilliant, thank you. So back to you, Ali. Looking ahead, tell us, if we could bring you back in 5 years, how would your job have changed? How would your role have changed? What's going to happen in your workplace to you? What do you think is going to change over the next 5 years?
It would be very different, I would have thought. I guess the goal for me personally, especially coming towards finishing my degree apprenticeship, I'd probably be some sort of lead technical engineer or engineering director as well, is an option that's been under discussion for my future. I guess that would be the major change. But one thing that I'm quite excited not to change, even if I take one of those roles, is staying within engineering, you know, continuing the development of our machines, whether that's making them cheaper, better, exposure to a wider market. So I guess, yeah, it's just continual progression, continual learning is not something that I never want to stop. Believe it or not, something that I very quickly learned in my apprenticeship is you never know everything. And I guess that's the main thing for me, is just to continue learning something new for as long as I can. Yeah.
Continue learning. Brilliant, thank you. So this is a final question from me to all of our panellists. No, actually, it's the penultimate question, because somebody from the audience who didn't want to put their hand up said, will you ask this question? So I will do that in a minute. So, but in terms of our sort of scheduled questions to all of you, really, let's start with you, Victoria, if we may. What advice would you give to students or young professionals considering a career in manufacturing? What's your killer piece of advice? How can they best prepare?
If you're going for an apprenticeship, really think about your entry point. I've seen people enter at level 3 who've already got A-levels, and in essence, they've spent 3 years gaining more A-levels, when actually they could have gone from A-levels straight to level 6 degree apprenticeship. You don't have to do 3, 4, 5 in order. You can jump, and that would be the main advice, would be to really make sure your entry point is the right one, so you're continually advancing your academic career as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Holly?
would absolutely say go for it. Now, what I mean by that is take the opportunity. There's so many opportunities within manufacturing. There's so many opportunities within the technology, the innovation. And regardless of, we've spoke quite a lot today about, this isn't a linear path. It's absolutely that stepping stone onto that next role, onto that new career development, whatever that may be for you. So, do the research, understand it, do what you enjoy, and give it a go.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. Do what you enjoy is my top priority. You may feel less pressure as soon as you come out of high school or sixth form. You have to jump into a role, and that's the complete opposite. You can take your time and make sure what you're doing is enjoyable, and make sure what you're going into is something that you will really have passion for. And if you do, 99% of the time you're going to find it amazing when you finally land that role.
I think that's what I've learned from tonight, is that every single person who's come onto the stage and talked about their career has done so with real passion. They really enjoy it. They really care. There's no moaning and groaning. They've come up here, and even the ones who are a little bit nervous, you can tell that they're really enjoying what they do, and that came through really strongly. So, Ali, what's your killer piece of advice for us?
Go for it. Don't look back, because especially for me personally, this was not my first career choice, and I have got so much more experience, qualifications, monetary gain, independence than I thought I would ever have. Honestly, you can think about it later, because even if you end up somewhere you don't want to be, there's always the option to leave. You have freedom of free will, so why not try it? For example, let's say there's a role at a company that does the job that you want, but the job that you've been offered is not the job that you're going for. So take that job, work your way up. There's always the option of doing that. And manufacturing is amazing for this. You could start a manufacturing company working within admin, and I've actually done this recently. There was someone working within admin in our company, and now he works in technical sales. Because of the fact that he was working there, he took the opportunity, and now he's doing more so of his dream job and working his way up. So honestly, I would just go for it.
Really good advice. So your advice essentially is that your first plan isn't necessarily the only plan. Yeah. And just out of curiosity, because everybody wants to know, what did you want to do?
So originally, I'd finished my GCSEs, and I wanted to do what a lot of people want to do. And, I'm not going to hold back with this. I want to do my A-levels and go enjoy myself at uni and think about my career later. Get a bunch of debt and just, enjoy my life. However...
So why didn't you?
So this wasn't actually a choice. Due to circumstance, I had to kind of live on my own. I had to move out at 17, and the only way to do that was pick up a part-time job at the weekend and do an apprenticeship so I can continue using what I thought, I thought I could be a technical person in the future, and that's the reason why I did it. And before that, the original plan is I wanted to get into the Navy to be a pilot at 16, and the reason I chose not to do that was obviously the A-level thing, and that didn't work out after the first year. The grades and everything else was all right, it was just circumstance, and now I'm here.
And you're doing great, thank you. So my question that was given to me by an audience member, and I genuinely have no idea whether you can even answer this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I said I would, was tonight is very much understandably focused on young people. What if, and this isn't me by the way, it's genuinely a member of the audience. It's not just because I want to work in global whatever it was. No, this is a question from the member of the audience. Wanted to know if this person was, I don't know, in their 40s and they're working, but they listen to this and they think, wow, I'd really like to do an apprenticeship. Is that a thing? Yeah. So, Victoria.
It definitely is a thing, and it's never too late to retrain and refocus. My grandmother at 66 went to uni because she decided she wanted a degree, and she graduated with a first. And it's like, actually, if she can do that at 66, anyone can do anything. And she's 85 now, in case you think like she was, really young when she had my mum. Yeah, so I would say, don't hesitate and don't hold yourself back. It's never too late to try something new, and it's better to try it than live with the regret of not.
Brilliant. Holly, you were going to...
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, a couple of years back, we had our first apprentice come and start with us. It was 43, and he came in. His background was retail, decided to retrain and become a welder with us in the experimental department. And we actually sat down with him and said, what is it? Why have you chose to do this? We're just curious. And he said, I realised I've woke up and I want to do something for me and I want to do something different, and this is something I'm passionate about. And straight away went, great, you've got the job. So he started with it. And actually what's really clear for a lot of any kind of apprenticeships or coming into manufacturing or changing your career, it doesn't matter your background, your age or anything. If you're passionate about it and you've got the resilience to come and do these kind of roles and the right characteristics, again, go for it.
Yeah. Go for it, wherever you've gone. I hope he's still here. Right, so that does conclude my questions, but this is your opportunity. We've got sort of 10 minutes to... We've got a microphone somewhere. Somebody got a microphone? We have a microphone. Put your hand up, please, if you'd like to ask a question, and please don't be shy. Brilliant, thank you.
As a parent, and not knowing the apprenticeship routes, because when I went through college, apprenticeships weren't really a thing, how do we signpost our young people to the different apprenticeships that are available? Is there like an Indeed website, or do you go to JCB website, and what do we do?
I can answer. So recently having, done 2 apprenticeships, there's multiple different avenues that you can go through. The one that's most common, so there's a government gateway for this. So if you search apprenticeships.gov, and you can filter that by distance, you can filter that by sector. That's the first one. The second option is if your child's looking to go to, let's say, a local college or university, there is always an education provider for an apprenticeship. Talk to the educational providers directly. Make them aware of the sector that your child wants to go into, or etc. And they can also help you with that. They'll make you aware of like the different types of apprenticeships they do, because an apprenticeship works is in line with your education. So for example, right now I'm doing a bachelor's in electromechanical engineering, and at the same time I do a job as an engineer. So I'll still get the same degree essentially. Or if it was college, for example, and they wanted to go into an automotive sector, they may get a level 3 qualification from the exact same college. So talk to the educational providers around you, look on the government website. And then the last one is also like send them to work experience. Look for as many different work experience places as you can send them, because, for example, we have a design engineer right now, which we employed last year, which I got involved with, and he just came for work experience. And we just went, do you want to do an apprenticeship? And those are the 3 main ways that I would go down.
Anybody want to add anything to Ali's excellent response?
I would add on to the work experience that don't just stick to work experience because the school's running a work experience week. Use the holidays. Reach out to organisations in a different way that sets you apart from other people, and that would be something I think would be to your advantage.
Brilliant, thank you. Any more questions? Gentleman in the front row here. Oh, thank you. Sorry. You're regretting it now, aren't you?
Oh, no. My question is, how do you make an apprenticeship scheme? I want some apprentices, and there isn't an apprenticeship scheme for them to join for the skills I need and the job I need to do. I'm not even sure there's enough demand for a wide range scheme, but I need some apprentices and I don't know how.
At Lucideon, we partnered with industry partners of people who were in a similar need as you, and none of us had the route. So together, we came together as a group of employers and worked with Derby University directly to put together the apprenticeship. That is the Material Science Degree Apprenticeship, but also called Material Science Technology Store Engineering. But ultimately, it was a group of employers that came together to champion for that. And so I would talk to the education providers and reach out and maybe talk to other employers in your sector to see if you can address the skills gap together.
If you don't mind me asking, what sort of work is it?
It's not actually engineering. I guess it's adjacent, though, if we're talking JCB. My company does off-the-road tyres.
Off-the-road tyres?
Large dump trucks, rigid dump trucks, graders, scrapers, all those kind of things. We do the on-site technicians. We also develop software that manages how tyres perform on different applications and how they wear, and which is the right product to pick, and how to get the best out of the asset that's rolling on the ground. And we then perform the maintenance on the vehicles. So we're a breakdown company. We go out and we take the tyres off and put them back on. It's HGV work, large crane work, 32-ton vehicles go out with cranes, and they fit and change and repair the tyres or bring them back. We manage fleets. So it's technical work, it's skilled work, but it's not really the same as car tyres or anything like that. It's so niche. There may be, to my estimate, there might be fewer than 100 qualified people. It's really difficult to employ people to enter the job. It's difficult, it's outside, it's not office bound at all. It's in the elements. It's a heavy job. But I need some, and I need some for the future. So.
So just from what you said there, you do a little bit of logistics, you do a lot of technical work as well, and you'd be very surprised. There's a website for all of the standards of apprenticeships, and although an apprenticeship might not cover everything to do with your workplace, as long as, depending on the way that the apprenticeship is based, so you'll have an EPA, an endpoint assessment, and you'll have the learning that they do. The learning that they do may be only 50% of what they need at your workplace, but then also through their EPA and through the rest of their apprenticeship standard, they will still get a qualification, which will be like an MBQ sort of thing. So there may actually be a standard that's suited to you or to the type of apprentice that you want to employ already. And then it's a case of when you go onto the website, I'll get it up for you before I leave. You can also then find the educational providers that actually provide that apprenticeship. So there may actually be one that is not perfect, but it covers enough for you to employ apprentices, if that makes sense.
Brilliant, thank you, Ali. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for questions, but what I would say is that all of our speakers, all of our panellists are going to be around for half an hour to chat and mingle with, and I'm pretty sure you'll have 3 or 4 people coming to you and saying, right, talk to me about apprentices. So if you could please give a huge round of applause for our panel. Thank you, thank you.